So what we would do from here is, if you look at the next part, would be to use a program called MyFitnessPal. This is basically a calorie counter that we use because it has a really deep database for food. It has like anything you can think of in there. And if you go down, you'll see that there's percentages that we can use. We go in there, we put our caloric need, and then we put the percentages of protein, carbohydrate, and fat that we want to get out of those calories. And it's dependent upon your goals, what that percentage will be. So again, fat loss, maintenance, or mass gain. And then what we have people do is log their food for a couple days, up to a week. And all it does is it will give you immediately, it'll give you feedback on where are the life that you're living now, where are your calories, carbohydrates, protein, and fat, based on what we're recommending. For a lot of people, right off the bat, something pops out. They're either, oh my God, I'm way over calories. I didn't realize. Okay, and remember, this takes into account if you want to lose weight. It takes into account that you're exercising. Okay, so what we want people to do is just to get a baseline and looking at your life as it is now. Okay, so not like, oh my God, I need to change everything. It's, what are some changes that you can make to what you eat now that will get you towards your goal? So in that scenario, I'm saying that most common scenario, so say for breakfast, a lot of people don't eat any protein for breakfast. They're just eating oatmeal, let's say, right? Very high carbohydrate, not a lot of protein. They'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have half as much oatmeal and I'm gonna add 2 eggs and some avocado. Something like that. That's a reasonable change to my life. I believe I can do that on a regular basis. And so now they've added protein, reduced carbohydrate. Oh, I'm eating a lot of fruit, dried fruit I'm snacking on in between my meals. I'm gonna quit snacking on my dried fruit. And I'm gonna add in avocado in my lunch every day. So now they've reduced carbohydrate, added a little bit of fat. And it's like, I can do that. And you just look at your life as it is now versus completely changing it. Does that make sense? And so when you do that, you can just make that decision and then stop measuring your food. Just go from there. Okay? So the weighing and measuring part is meant to be a short-term starting point, getting a baseline. What do you do if you input your numbers and you're right on target? You're like, oh shit, I'm right on, my calories are pretty close, my macronutrients are pretty close. What can you do? What does that person do?
Give yourself a pat in the back.
Yeah, hell yeah, right? You can focus on more fun stuff. You can focus on the quality part if you're struggling there. So you don't need to make major changes to the quantity or macronutrients, but you can start focusing on, I'd like to learn to cook dinner or something like that. Or you can say, I'm going to go to the farmer's market once a week. You can kind of have, these are a little bit more fun goals that you can do. Or if you don't want to, if your quality is even there, then you can really just start to focus on your performance and your training. So you'd be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing with my diet, and I'm just going to focus on my training. My life is in order on that level, and I'm going to start working in a pull-up program. Or I'm going to go to the barbell club classes and learn to Olympic lift twice a week. And so you can start focusing on that type of stuff. So there is no, elite athletes, they still have goals. But the point is that we need to get our nutrition working for us first, especially if you want to lose fat or gain muscle. That has to be there if you want to accomplish those goals. Okay, so that's where you start. And as you get it dialed in, you can move on. When you make these changes, make these decisions, some people will come back to me and they'll be like, I'm not accomplishing my goals. Like, after a couple weeks, if you want to gain weight or lose fat, you should start seeing results. Okay, after a couple weeks. So if something's not happening the way that you want, remember we estimated our calories. You can adjust that number. So move your calories down a little bit. Or you can keep things where they are. You can exercise like an extra hour or 2 a week. But the idea is it doesn't have to be fast. It's not a rapid gain or loss. But once you find where the results are coming, you just stay there. And you just keep working towards that goal. Does that make sense? So have you guys ever gone through a process like this before? Yes?
Not officially.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't use calories for the longest time. No? And that's the idea. Not a lot of people really have sat down and looked at what's going in to see how it affects the output. Okay? You know, and when it's proven that if you log your food, you automatically eat better. Just to write it down, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to write that down if I eat it, you know? And people notice stuff. It just stands out. Like you're looking at it from the outside in, all right? And you got to look at that stuff. And this is the point. There's no one way to live your life. So there are vegetarians in here, people that prefer not to eat animal protein. I'm like, you still got to get protein. You can get protein from vegetable sources, okay? And the idea is that this is not a dogmatic thing, in that I personally eat a lot of grass-fed beef and lamb and bison and things like that. And that works for me. But that doesn't have to be what you do. But just know that these numbers work for everybody, okay?